I doing the runaround?
What's going on, YouTuberites? This is your man Tebow. Welcome to Lords of the Long Box and the CovrPrice Top 10. Before we get started, I want you guys to all put in your bets on who is going to be. We got a Donny Cates over under. The official Vegas line this week is 3.5. So put in your bets on how many Donny Cates books will be on this list. I think last week it was 4. So you got another 2 minutes to put your guesses in here. Whoever wins gets a Marvel no prize or something like that from each other. But while you guys are waiting and congregating, let me get to some DJ Curse.
Created from the cosmic legends of the universe. Their mission, to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
Now that's a name I've not heard.
Laugh it up, fuzzball. In this, you shall know that the Lord is update.
Shake and bake and pull it back.
In this, you shall know that the Lord is update. In this, you shall know that the Lord is update.
Go on and get some, boys.
Jack, here's the deal. I'm the best there is.
In this, you shall know that the Lord is update.
What's in the box?
Like a spider monkey.
What's good, troglodytes and chuds? This is Lords of the Long Box and the CovrPrice Top 10 week ending August 23rd. And how many Lords does it take to count backwards from 10 today? That's only 2.
Just 2 of us.
Otto's back bartending. Justin is still out on a vacation. And I think Darkside Jedi got lost in the Force, to be honest with you. I don't know. It's a mystery. But I got my man. I'm going to say what's up, Zach.
What's going on, everybody? Been gone for a little bit. Had a little work trip last week, so I wasn't here, and glad to be back.
You missed a lot. But you know what? We are going to talk about all the stuff that he missed on Wednesday or Thursday. So stay tuned. We are going to go over all the stuff that happened at DC Fandom, and I watched it live from home, and it wasn't bad, man. It was okay. They did a whole lot better job than San Diego Comic-Con.
How was like the quality? Did it cut out at all or anything?
No, it was good. It was really good. The quality was great. I think they presented it very well. They had this cool kind of virtual area where everybody was at. Just some really kind of random people were speaking at times. So they just had people all over the world. So you had like people from from Brazil from Brazil, from Spain, from Italy. There was really cool little panels here and there, but we'll get to it on Wednesday or Thursday, Kat. We're going to go over all the panels and give you our thoughts on the Snyder Cut trailer, the Black Adam stuff, all the stuff, because that's pretty major news. And then we'll talk about the elephant in the room, which was comics, that the 25% workforce that was laid off. Shout out to everybody in the live chat. If you haven't, guys, the CovrPrice giveaway is still going on till I think September 2nd is when we're going to pull a winner. So as part of our 5,000 subs giveaway, guys, click on that link I just left in the live chat right there. All you have to do is click on it and you are automatically entered. We're going to pick 3 winners that will get a 1-year free subscription to CovrPrice.com. And if you're already subscribed and if you win, you will get another year added on to your already existing membership. So that's cool. If it ends in 9 months for you, after that 9 months, you will get an additional 1 year added on from our friends at CovrPrice. If you're already entered and you want to check them out, go over to CovrPrice.com. Sign up. You get a 2-week free trial, and you can see all the goodies that are in there. It's a great site. The show is also brought to you by our friends at Rocket Comics. If you haven't, go to Rocket Comics, send them Lords of Longbox Sense. You get 20% off your first pressing order. He also submits to CGC, and he does signature facilitation. Jesus Christ, I had to talk slower. Speculation, Hercules.
There you go.
This show is also brought to you by our friends over at KRSComics.com. Go to KRSComics.com. Use discount code of LOTLB to get 15% anything in the KRS Comics store, all the exclusives. I will be giving away about 6 or 7 sets of variants for KRS Comics. We're going to officially announce the 5,000 subs giveaway when I have all the books in hand. I got some books from Rocket Comics. Also, our sponsor, Comics, Tunes, and Toys in Tustin, California. Hit up the Big To Do. They got mystery boxes that are still doing again. So make sure you support Comics, Tunes, and Toys. He gave me some books, and I'll show them later. I got a bunch of trades and a slab that we'll be giving away. So we're going to try to pick as many winners as we can. Also, make sure you peep out our friends at thegeekyswagshop.com. Go to geekyswagshop.com. Use discount code of LOTLB. They get 10% off anything. We're giving these face masks and also these Lords of Longbox t-shirts. So make sure you get them for the summertime. And I think that's it. I will be doing evens and you will be doing odds. So that means you get to do runner up. How's that sound?
Okay. So
I think I paid all the bills, right? Is that?
I know.
It's a mouthful, man. But hey, yeah. We got to support those who support us, man. They've been rocking with us for a while. They helped us get to 5,000 subs. And also make sure you check out geekositymag.com. They are Mikey Sutton's new website. They launched with 10,000 views on the first day. Congratulations to Mikey and all the guys, especially a man, James Simon, who is the graphic designer for geekositymag.com. He helped me edit that scoop video I did a few days ago with, if you never noticed, that's probably the best ever edited Lords video that he did. So shout out to James Simon, man. He did a great job with that. Go check out our friends at Geekosity. Their site is blowing up, and you're going to see content from the Lords on there very soon as well. So, as we always say, this is a top 10 list compiled from about 4 or 5 different websites and actual sales data, and that's why we do it the week after. There's always a top 10, but there's always an 11th one that did really well, but just not enough to crack the top 10. And this week, Zach, who is the runner-up?
So this week is a book we've seen a couple of times before. There's been a little heat on it. It's heated up, cooled down, heated up, cooled down. And once again, it's back. We've got The Immortal Hulk #2. This is going to be the 4th print. The big thing of this book is it's the first appearance of Dr. Fry. It sold 13 copies, had a 7-day trend of 193%, and had a high sale of about $40 for a raw copy. So, like I said, this book's kind of popped in and out of the radar. Dr. Fry was a big deal, especially when Immortal Hulk really started. You know, harkens back to the old Incredible Hulk TV show. That's right. Yeah, so this book's been around, you know, a lot of covers, a lot of great covers, a great Alex Ross cover, I think is the first print.
Something has to be happening with the character.
He just showed back up, actually. So he actually disappeared from the story for a while. Minor spoiler alert. He's popped back up in the past couple issues. So they're planning on doing some things with him.
Well, but, you know, I'm thinking something even more like, you know, he's being developed for something in Disney Plus or movies or, you know what I mean? Something that really pushes it along. But, you know, like we always see
a She-Hulk villain.
Yeah. I mean, we always see this list and we're wondering, why is this happening? And then the biggest example, I guess, would be Miles Morales. Sure enough, we find out all kinds of stuff is happening and, you know, they come and go. But it's interesting how this book just kind of, because remember, this was hot like 6 months ago, right? Remember? Yeah. Because everybody's like, oh, it's a TV Hulk villain. Yeah.
It's been in and out. Like it was hot actually, like when it dropped and then it cooled and then it popped back up. I think it's kind of just, honestly, this 4th print and maybe when the prints come back out, it heated back up. But I don't know. We'll see. See what happens.
Yeah. Just interesting that it's just a random book from or his first appearance from 2018. It's not even the first print. It's like I think just people are on a multiple print kick right now. You know what I mean? They're like finding these third, fourth prints, and they're like, look what I found. But little did you know, it's just another page from inside the comic book. That's what Marvel does.
I actually, and not to like go down the rabbit hole, but I kind of have this belief that these prints we're seeing in books like obviously Thor and the Venoms are the biggest in the Ultimate Fallout stuff. Is people are picking up these prints, and the prices are going up on these. But I feel like there's a lot of danger with these books. I don't think they're going to hold these values. I think in 2 or 3 years, fourth print Immortal Hulk #2 is not going to be a $40 book.
No, people are definitely going to want the first print, especially when, let's just say, there are newer collectors who don't know that this isn't even an original cover or original piece of art for the variant, right? You know, that's why some of the, like, if you think about the Edge of Spider-Verse third print, that's a totally different cover from all the other ones, right? Yeah. And it's not from an internal page. It's literally a different cover. So I think those probably have
there's definitely a difference.
Yeah. All right. So runner up is the Immortal Hulk #2 fourth print from 2018. Look at that, a book that's not from the last 2 months. All right, let's get right to it, boys and girls. And the top 10 coming in at number 10 is, you guessed it, the TMNT Last Ronin. This is the ash can, not the trash can, but the ash can. Yeah. So IDW has delayed this much anticipated series due to creative changes. It was reported that retailers were unhappy with the lackluster artwork they saw in this ash can. Hence, IDW bringing in artists, I'm going to butcher this name, Asao Escorza and Isaac Escorza. What will change and how much will change is unknown. However, what was seen in this ash can is most likely going to be different in some way, giving this an instant hard to find collectible. Due to this, it sold 15 copies, had a 7-day trend of 192% and a high sale of $75 for a raw copy. And reading that makes me very, very hesitant on what could change. Like, if people read this, and I mean, maybe just the art's going to change, right? I mean, and it also seems
not the story, because you still got Eastman and Laird writing. So
what seems crazy to me is that retailers are complaining about the art and they went and changed the artist. Like, wow, really? You know, that's kind of like a slap in the face of the guy, you know, the artist, you know, like, you know, because I've seen some books out there that the art is not, you know, what you would say top notch, but you know, the story drives it. So it's just interesting that, and that's probably why this book is, you know, because you're never going to see this art, and it's also sucks that it delayed it, you know, but kind of weird, man. So
I'm pretty excited about this title. We were talking off air about this, you know, and this story actually is an old story that Eastman and Laird had written decades and decades ago and just never got around to it. And, you know, if anyone knows the spoiler, please don't spoil it, but it's basically wrapped around the idea of the last turtle, and you can see how he's carrying like all the weapons of all the turtles, and so it's unknown which turtle it is. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know if that's been spoiled or not, but I'm really looking forward to this. Like I was telling you, I'm a big TMNT fan, and it's an original. I think it's cool that it's such an old story that they just never got around to really finishing and an idea.
And for those who don't know, I highly suggest you go out and look at I forgot what channel it was on. It was a documentary, actually. And I think it's on one of those Netflix series that it talks about. I think it's the toys that define us or whatever.
Oh, you know, that made us.
The toys that made us. And they talk about Eastman and Laird, and they had a falling out because, you know, one didn't want it to be so big and commercial, and the other one did. But at the end of it, though, what's great about that episode is they show Eastman and Laird coming back together at the end of it. You know, it's pretty good. One of the better episodes in the entire series, because it talks about their falling out. They're very, very frank in the article about, you know, why they fell out. And then at the end, it shows them come back together. So if you didn't know, there's a whole history. And I highly suggest you go watch it if you're a fan of not only just turtles, but just the, you know, the history of comics and toys and all. It's a great series. I mean, absolutely, I love that series. But
sorry, I know we're kind of spending a lot of time on number 10 here, but I want to piggyback on that too. The old like deluxe edition hardcovers of the original run of Turtles is awesome, because in the back, after you read the issues, they actually talk about it. So it's actually like the words you'll see, like Eastman and Laird both write, like, this is what we were thinking at this time. This is how it's going. And so as the issues go on, they're very frank and open about the issues between the two of them. And I think it's cool. I mean, obviously they're cool now, but they're like, look, like, I didn't like the way he was doing this. And he was like, I didn't like the way I was doing that, blah, blah, blah. So it's honestly, if you want to get into it, like, buy those and
It's
find out
like
a lot of info.
here's a reference for you old heads out there. It's like VH1's Behind the Music.
It is. It's like behind the music. Yeah.
You're not to get too far off topic, which we
Right.
already are. But you ever seen that show? I think it was a VH1. It was called Reuniting the Band, where they take an old band from the 80s and they try to get them back together for one show. And, more times than not, they're like, we tried, fuck them. I don't ever want to see those guys again. So just one of those things, man. It's artists, especially when it's two guys that created something as opposed to just one guy, there's
Right.
bound to be issues with some, so it's very cool. Go check it out if you haven't. So number 10 on the list is TMNT, The Last Ronin, the Ashcan edition. All right, boys and girls, let's go on to the next one. Number 9 on the list. That's
so number
right.
number 9's a book we've seen a couple times now. I don't know. Was it on the list last week too? Because it showed up about 2 weeks ago, I think, right? We've got Amazing Spider-Man number 375.
It's been on it. This is I think it's third week here because right before the Venom issue that came out is when people started really getting into it.
Yeah. So anyway, a lot of you probably know by now, this issue, Amazing Spider-Man 375, is the first appearance of Anne Wang, who is the wife of Eddie Brock. She makes an appearance in the recent issue of Venom 27, shows up in an alternate universe, kind of as a member of a team of Agent Venom, so to speak. So this book's been pretty hot. The reintroduction of the character, moderate first appearance of an alternate version of Anne Wang. Who knows where it's going to go? It's Donny Cates. Who knows? Sold 31 copies, had a 7-day trend of 97%, and had a high sale of about $190 for a CGC 9.8. And Tim, don't you have some interesting information on this book, actually?
I did, because when you think 31 copies were sold, you think, wow, that's a lot. So I reached out to our friends at Comic-Con, who's one of the best resources if you ever want to find out about a comic's history and how many units were sold. So I said, hey, what is the exact, how many copies are sold on this when it came out back in 1993? And he replied to me very nicely on Twitter. And this is what he said. I said, hey, any idea what the print run on ASM 375 was, released back in March of 1993? He got back to me. Yes, it was the best-selling issue of Amazing Spider-Man ever. That includes the Obama issue. I have the total sales, including shops, newsstand, and subscriptions, and it's a bit over 900,000 copies. If you remember, 1993 was that was like at the height, I would say the height of the popularity of comics. If you look at those top 10 lists, man, each book was pushing like 400,000 or 500,000 units at that time. So that's why I keep on seeing this. I was like, man, why are there so many copies? Well, there's almost 1 million copies of these floating around. So just, I like to point that out there, just so when you think you have, a few of them, it's not that scarce of a book. So just be careful. I do believe there is an error variant of this book, which is probably a better one to get. There's probably some other little nuances, but the regular copy, just be aware, there's a bit over 900,000 copies sold. Good for Spider-Man. This is back in the heyday where, man, X-Men sold over 1 million copies, but that's pretty interesting that this even outsold the Obama issue. But I have to ask him again. He said it was the best-selling issue of Spider-Man. I wonder what it is now, if that's still the case or not. But I had no idea that this sold that many copies. But there you go, man. So Amazing Spider-Man number 375 in at number 9, man. Big 30th anniversary issue, or probably pushing it bigly back then. But there you go, boys and girls. All right, let's move on to number 8 on the list, which is a very, very interesting book. New Avengers number 10 from 2013. Interesting in that. This is because the first appearance of Thane. He is a son of Thanos. He I think it was a YouTuber, and I think he's on Twitter as well. I believe his name is The Comic Perspective, and he shared a big splash page at the end of Thor number 6, and he goes into his very interesting theory surrounding the black gauntlet that Thanos wields in that panel. We won't get into it here since Gary covers, so go check out The Comic Perspective on YouTube. It's pretty thorough. We try not to speculate here, but that being said, this theory lit a fire under Thane's first appearance in this issue, and it sold 20 copies, had a 7-day trend of 153%, had a high sale of $300 for a CDC 9.8. Good Lord. I'm glad I have this, because I have the entire Infinity run from Hickman and Deodato, because, this is when I was pulling everything. But pretty interesting that, nowadays with, like I said, collectors are hypersensitive. So, you could be, medium-sized YouTube channel. You could be a giant website, but any little bit of news that drops, if one collector picks up on it, they see a trend, other people's would do it too. So congratulations to Comic Perspective. So putting Thane out there. But what we're not saying, that's why we're not speculating on it on this channel. We just report what the sales data is. So Lords and CovrPrice guys, when we get this list, we try to figure out what's actually pushing the sales on it, and that's where we figured this came from. So we're just trying to figure out, like we try, like with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, why the Ash Can's popular. With the Amazing Spider-Man 375, it's because it's Anne Wang's first appearance and she's in Ages of Venom. So we try to not just present the list, but we also try to give you a reason why people may be out there buying these issues. So there you go. Number 8 on the list is New Avengers number 10 from 2003. This is crazy. We have a book from 1993, 2013 on this. What's going on? Guess what? Still not a single Donny Cates book. Should we give them 375? I mean, he didn't write it. So
I mean, the specs, not,
right. It has to be Donny Cates.
But that's a valid first appearance. She's been in a movie, so
all right. So are we giving ASM 375 as a Cates book?
Nope.
All right. So it's still 0, boys and girls, and we're at number 8. Go figure. All right. What's number 7 on the list, Zach?
Number 7, we got another Spider-Man book. This is going to be Spider-Man issue 234 back from 2017. Another pretty recent book. This one popped a little bit because it's the first appearance of Miles Morales' uncle, Aaron Davis, as the Iron Spider. So I'm not really sure why this is trending, but for whatever reason, it is. I mean, it's probably piggybacking off of the Miles Morales hype a little bit there. People are probably being priced out, and they're trying to go and pick up whatever they can. Also keep in mind, Aaron Davis did have a big actor attached to him in Spider-Man, the movie recently. So sold 13 copies, had a 7-day trend of 280%, and had a high sale of $20 for a raw copy.
Wait, is this the same Miles uncle that's the Prowler?
Different.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, wait a second, Iron Spider. Okay, so this is the Iron Spider.
I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah, so like I said, just hypersensitive, and people are going to snatch things up thinking maybe Aaron Davis would be in the Miles Morales movie. Who knows? Or Iron Spider? Who knows, man? But it's kind of a funky cover, though. It's got all kinds of crazy stuff. So this is is this the Ultimates version of the Sinister Six?
Maybe.
Yeah. All right. So that's interesting. It's always good to see the Spot back.
Yeah, new Sinister Six.
Yeah. All right, boys and girls. So number 7 on the list is Spider-Man number 234 from 2017. You know what? You guys did a bang up job this week. We got a little mix of everything. It's not all just books from the last 2 months. So let's go to number 6 on the list. Maestro number 1. Would you look at that? Man, I shouldn't have sold my first appearance during the last auction. But anyway, Maestro, I was just talking about you guys doing a great job. This is a new book. There you go. The George Perez 1 in 25 was the cover for online buyers who wanted his first solo series. It sold 57 copies, had a 7-day trend of 71%, had a high sale for $40 for a raw copy. So there you go. We've kind of been teasing that Marvel's been teasing that Maestro is coming. I'm surprised, obviously I think the real one is you want to get the Hulk book. The 2-issue series that actually features his first appearance. But when they relaunched it, Future Imperfect, and I sold some copies. I still have 1 copy left, but the actual Future Imperfect number 2 is the first cover appearance of Maestro, and then the first appearance is in issue number 1. So there you go. It's just so we see a trend here. If characters come.
He's been creeping around in stories for the past couple of years also lately.
Contest of the Champions, yeah.
Contest of the Champions. He was also very popular in the Dead Man Logan, which was the Old Man Logan, like tail end. He creeped around there. So he pops in and out. He's always been a character that is really people are interested in and hasn't been a lot of origin story. And I have this book. I haven't got around to reading it yet. And I think that's what it is it's his origin story. So I'm looking forward to reading this.
Yeah, so you notice like in Contest of the Champions and Future Imperfect, and even in this, you always see him old. Mm-hmm. So if you read this, you actually see him young without gray hair, which I was like, whoa. I thought he always had, it's just one of those dudes you just picture always looks old, right? So, all right. So number 6, on the list is Maestro number 1, the George Perez 1 in 25 variant. So it's just interesting how there's so many variants that come out, online variants, and which one the market decides is the one that's the most popular.
And I'm horrible at making that judge because I'll be like, ooh, I like that one, and that will not be the one that hits.
Like this one doesn't look special to me. It's just George Perez is cool, maybe, but I mean, it's just sometimes you think you have the names like Peach Momoko, J. Scott Campbell, or
See, and that's the thing too. Like Momoko, I don't get it. I don't get her artwork, man. I'm not feeling it.
The only one I really like is Strange Academy #1. The other ones are kind of hit or miss. So we'll see how much longevity Miss Momoko has. If you remember, Art Germ was a one-trick pony. Everybody kind of looked the same. He even changed up his style a little bit because now he's all over the place. But Peach Momoko's being pulled. She's doing Amazing Spider-Man variants now and DC variants.
Yep.
So
TMNT,
yeah, she's everywhere. Good
Everything,
for her,
man.
man. If you get a gig, hey, take that 15
money.
minutes. Take that 15 minutes and run with it, son. All right, so let's move on to number 5 on the list. We're halfway there, boys and girls. Hey, there you go. We got our first Donny Cates.
Ding.
That's
Donny
right.
Cates book. So, I mean, everyone knows there's not a lot that needs to be said about this, but we've got Thor number 5, been on the list for God knows how long, since this book came out, probably. Black Winter, first appearance. He continues to sell 47 copies, sold with a 7-day trend of 106%, and had a high sale of $275 for a CGC 9.8. And this is going to be the first printing covered. So, this is a good book. This is a book that I've got going to CGC sometimes here soon as well. And, who knows? We'll see what the longevity here is with this character. If you've read Thor 6, you might doubt it a little bit. But
well, we kind of, if you actually read previews, you should know Thor number 7 starts a totally new story arc. And guess who's not in it? Galactus or the Black Winter. So Thor number 6 kind of wraps it all up in a nice tidy bowl for you right there. But
I don't think this will be the end of Black Winter.
Oh no, he'll be
Donny Cates he's setting this big stage for all these characters, and you'll see him again, and you might see him pop up probably in Venom. Actually, he probably won't even deal with it.
I always said, dude, somehow Black Winter or Null are connected to each other. Because Donny Cates is going to make it that way in the King in Black at the end of the year. But that's why it's always we say it every week, man. Be careful on the spec on villains, because they are huge for that storyline, and then they disappear and they reappear every 2 or 3 years. Marvel rarely does solo series based off of villain. Even Thanos had 17-issue run, but
he's had a couple recent ones, but Thanos and Magneto are probably the only ones who really consistently get anything.
You're not going to see a Black Winter solo series, so just be careful. I mean, unless he's very prominent or he becomes a MCU villain, then the book will really pop. But it had a nice little run. It's still number 5, so we'll see next week, because after people read Thor number 6, people keep on specking on the Black Winter. So we shall see. And what's interesting is, so far we haven't seen Null or Virus on this list. So if you're playing at home, boys and girls, that is one Donny Cates book so far. Shall we get to number 4?
Let's do it.
I'm excited about this one. I'm doing even, right?
Yep.
I totally forgot. There's only 2 of us. Like, duh. All right. So number 4 on the list. That's right, boys and girls. Marvel Spotlight number 32, which of course is the first appearance of Jessica Drew as Spider-Woman. And this is directly ripped right off of Deadline's report. And I'll read it for you here. Olivia Wilde has been tapped to direct an untitled female-centered Marvel movie at Sony. Sources tell Deadline that Olivia Wilde has closed a deal to direct and develop a secret Marvel film project revolving around a female character in that universe. While not confirmed, it's expected the story to be centered on Spider-Woman. I don't have the screenshot, but so when they tweeted this, Olivia Wilde retweeted it with an emoji of a spider. So immediately that kind of made everybody's spider sense go tingling, right? So there you go. Even though it's not confirmed, the writer of the article suggested that it might be Spider-Woman, but didn't name Jessica Drew. It's still unknown which Spider-Woman this will feature, but sales are really picked up for Jessica Drew's first appearance. Marvel Spotlight number 32. It sold 35 copies, had a 7-day trend of 161%, had a high sale. 550 for a CDC 9.6. That's not even a 9.8, because this is one of those Bronze Age Marvel books that, everybody looks in the Bronze Age. I got to get all the first appearances because eventually something's going to pop. So let me add a caveat to this, if I use that word correctly. I reached out we had Jessica Drew on our long-term spec list last year, that they were developing something with Jessica Drew involved. So sure enough, another long-term spec list has popped. So I reached out to Mikey Sutton, and he told me it's definitely Jessica Drew. as of right now. Obviously, things can change, but as of right now, what we had on a long-term spec list is correct. Now, how this works out eventually will be interesting because I talked to Mikey really in depth about this because we want to be careful on how we present this because people will realize Spider-Woman belongs to Sony. Jessica Drew belongs to Disney. Now, let me put that in perspective. So Jessica Drew has done a lot of solo stories or stories where she's just Jessica Drew, not Spider-Woman in the 616, right? She was part of the Avengers for a long time. Just recently, she's been Spider-Woman again, and I think it's on issue 3 or 4 right now. Basically, she's a spy with some super power, spider-like powers, I guess closer to Miles Morales than it is to Peter Parker, right? She has like these kind of little stinger blasts on him. But so when this news dropped, people, I'm telling you, this is one of the things. Movie spec and TV spec will always trump comic book spec. And that's why this book immediately showed up on number 4 as soon as this news dropped. So hopefully you guys paid attention to our long-term spec list last year and gobbled up a couple of copies. So we'll see where it goes, man. So they didn't say Olivia Wilde was actually going to be acting in it. She's just going to be being the showrunner or the director, and the writer of the project. She's done a couple of other feature films, so we'll see how it goes, man. But it's a good book to have, and it's tough to crack in a 9.8 because of the all black cover. But Marvel Spotlight number 32, and this is the old school costume because she has that ridiculous headgear on. That's
right. Yeah, it sucks.
Right. All right, so number 4 on the list is Marvel Spotlight number 32, the first appearance of Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman. Let's go on to number 3.
So number 3 kind of touches on something we talked about a little bit ago earlier. Look, we were already like foreshadowing what we were coming across. So number 3 is going to be Captain Marvel, The End, number 1, but it's going to be the Peach Momoko cover B variant. So like we said earlier, Peach Momoko is hot right now. The absolute star of COVID 2020 in terms of her books. So any book that comes out there, and this one was, a little while ago, and it was kind of cooled, but
people are searching out Momoko stuff.
Exactly. Now it's picking up some steam. It sold 28 copies, had a 7-day trend of 219%.
Good Lord.
And had a high sale of $36 for a raw copy. Now, if you remember, the End books just came out relatively recently. They did like Venom, The End, Doctor Strange, The End, Captain Marvel, The End, one shots that came out. And yeah, this is a Peach Momoko variant.
I mean, they're like alternative timeline stories. It looks toward the future, correct?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's really of no continuity. It's just kind of like, hey, look, this is how it is. Remember, they did like a Wolverine, The End, X-Men, The End years and years ago. It's always fun to kind of see how your characters die.
We were just talking about how they're hit or miss. This, I would think, is more of a hit. I like this probably better than some of the other stuff, right? I mean, it's a bit. Some of her stuff is a bit exaggerated in the style that she's trying for. I mean, this one looks more like traditional anime, to be honest with you. Some of the other ones are a bit out there, but
right. Someone in the chat actually mentioned that earlier, said that, she appeals to the anime manga crowd, and that's why, people like her so much. And that's true. Like I get that. That's why I'm not such a big fan, because that's not really my thing.
Yeah. I mean, if you think what's the Humberto Ramos has a kind of exaggerated anime, almost graffiti type style.
And I actually like him. I do enjoy his art.
Yeah. Battle Chasers with giant boobs all over the place on Battle Chasers. But all right, so number 3 on the list, if you're playing at home, and how many Peach Momokos we're going to be on it so far? 1. But if you're picking the over on Donny Cates, it's not looking good. The over under was 3.5, and so far we only have 1. So if you've been paying attention, there's a book that we haven't seen yet, and number 2 is, oh God, I have to say this one.
Yep, that's you.
Dark Knights Death Metal Legends of the Dark Knights, number 1. This is just a regular copy and still going strong at number 2 on the list, boys and girls. So 68 copies, had a 7-day trend of 96% at a high sale of $26 for raw copy. This is obviously leading towards the Robin King, or King Robin, whatever his name is. So is this the first DC book on the list? Look at that.
Yep, it is. It's been heavy on Marvel today, man, except for TMNT and this.
Yeah, but the last week, I mean, there was like there was this one, and then there was the 1 in 25 variant. So man, that one just got pushed off the list altogether. But pretty cool. I mean, let's see what the actual numbers are on it. yeah, that's it. There's really not much to say. I mean, we talked about it for like 3 weeks now. It's the first appearance of King Robin. Also, anything Robin related now or anything Joker related now is kind of blowing up, but we shall see. I'm trying to read some of the stuff that leads up to this before I read to this, like, all the what was the story line that led right into this? Because I'm reading it.
Oh, the Justice League, the Doom, Legion of Doom.
Yeah, so I'm reading that just so I can get a primer on this, since I don't remember anything about the Joker Who Laughs, and it's
he shows up in there. There's a lot. I mean, if you're reading it all, it's not just the Dark Knights. It was Dark Knights, and then he had his own solo, and then it's the Perpetua stuff and Justice League, and then it leads into this. So it's all connected, man. Snyder and Tynion have had this big, grand idea for quite a while, and they're showing it.
Tynion is writing a ton of stuff for DC. I was going through my book. I'm like, man, he's driving like maybe 5 different titles right now. It seems like on DC side, there's like maybe 2 or 3 guys writing all the books, it seems like. So Tynion, Snyder, and who's the other cat I forgot?
Venditti has been writing a lot, I think.
So but unfortunately, a lot of them got laid off, so we'll see how it goes, man. But I think while they're doing this, DC will double down on what's been selling, so expect a lot more of Dark Knights, Death Metal.
Well, they have extended the titles for this little crossover run more than when it was first solicited. Like, I remember seeing a list recently, and I saw at least 5 or 6 more titles that were not solicited initially. So you're right, dude. They're doubling down on what's hot and what works.
We'll expect more punchline. You got, when you're bleeding money, you gotta double down on what's working and keep on doing that, so you can make money to make some of the other stuff. So you gotta go. So we'll talk about this either on Thursday when we drop the video for the DC fandom stuff. There was a lot. There was just movie and TV news, very, very light on comic book news. From what I understand, there's going to be some more stuff they're adding on. So maybe they'll talk about, maybe this was done on purpose because they didn't want people talking about the layoffs and stuff. But what's interesting to me that didn't make this list is the news that dropped during fandom about probably the only thing that's comic book related was DC is bringing back Milestone. And during that panel, they dropped the news nugget that a Static X or Static Shock movie is in development for the big screen. Shockingly, nobody went out and bought Static Shock #1, which is still a cheap book, but that's major news, man. That Milestone has been. I mean, when I talked to Ken Lashley, he told me that they were trying to bring Milestone back during the interview that I did on the show, and he was actually offered something, but then what he told me was Dan DiDio said, no, we're not doing Milestone anymore. I need you to do this. And that's when he offered him the 5G stuff. And I guess I could talk about it now. The DC 5G stuff is all but been canceled. They are not going to be going ahead with it. And right now, with the way they're contracting all their titles, there's no room for a giant 5G. If you remember, that was going to be, they're going to age up a lot of the legacy characters. So Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman were going to be aged up to like.
Yeah, that got a lot of hate.
So that's gone altogether. So, we'll see what Jim Lee is saying. Because if you watch the whole DC fandom stuff, and I think they're going to make another one, since this one was just about, because I was kind of disappointed. If you're a comic book fan, all they talked about was the shows and that's what everybody wanted, the Snyder Cut and other things. But surprisingly light on the comic book stuff. So maybe in the ones, I think they're coming in September with the part 2 of it. Maybe that'll be more comic book related. But for those who have not seen the Batman Beyond panel, go see that. It is freaking hilarious. It is Batman Beyond and old Bruce Wayne watching an episode of Batman 66, and they just roasted. It's actually freaking hilarious, man. You guys, and if you haven't seen the we'll get to it. I'm giving away too much, but the Suicide panel was real fun too, because it ended up just being a roast of Rucker.
Michael Rooker.
Michael Rooker, yeah. They were just roasting him. Everybody in the Suicide Squad movie was just roasting him. It's all in good fun, because Gunn and him been good friends for a long time. So number 2 on the list is Dark Knight's Death Metal Legends of the Dark Knight #1. Good Lord, that's a mouthful. All right. If you've been paying attention to homeboys and girls, the over-under, if you play the under for Donny Cates' book, the under was 3.5. If you pick the over, sorry. #1 on the list is Zach.
#1 is going to be Spider-Woman #1. So we touched on this a little bit ago in #4. We had the first appearance of Jessica Drew as Spider-Woman, but Spider-Woman #1 is actually going to be the first appearance of Jessica Drew, correct? Right? Am I reading that right? Yeah. So there's a lot of speculation that Jessica Drew is going to be the star of the new Olivia Wilde-led or directed film for Marvel. So this book's is popping right now. It's been popping for a while, though. I mean, I've seen this book on almost, to be honest with you, every time I watch an auction, I feel like this book comes up somewhere. People have been moving this book for quite a while now. Sold 65 copies, had a 7-day trend of 109%, and had a high sale of $275 for a 9.8. So if you're looking for it as a collector too, this book is not like an outrageous price. $275 for a 9.8.
Yeah,
for a 78. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah. And the reason why this is number 1 and not Marvel Spotlight number 32, because Marvel Spotlight number 32 is already pricey. And so people started going out getting the first issue of the first solo series, as opposed to getting the first appearance, which is a lot more expensive. Kind of like
it's like doing giant size X-Men versus Hulk 181.
Yeah, or I would say like
that's probably too high.
Number 15 as opposed to Iron Fist number 15 or number, you know what I mean? One of those, because people will get priced out of first appearances. So but it's cool that we're seeing this. I would expect this to be on the list for at least a couple more weeks. And it'll go away. And then the first official news of the casting of whomever is going to be playing Jessica Drew, it'll pop back in here because that's how people react. So buy on, if you can, on long-term spec, right? Sell on the first official news, because you don't want to buy in the first official news because you'll be part of the giant FOMO crowd that's like, I need to get this before it comes too late. And sometimes it is too late. But
touching on that too, like Comics Misexplained just said, all the people who are out there trying to buy whoever was on that Suicide Squad panel's first appearance, like Polka Dot Man, bro, you messed up. You should be selling it right now. You shouldn't be buying it right now.
First of all, there are way too many people on that roster, and James Gunn has already said that there's going to be a lot of people dying in this.
Oh yeah, hell yeah! You got to kill half those dudes. Are like not even C-listers, bro. Those are like M-listers.
Yeah, and it's funny that you know what? Let's save it for another discussion, because we have a lot about the entire thing, because about John Cena and all the other characters. It's a pretty fun panel, though. I will say that the Wonder Woman panel had this thing where they started playing a game. It was awful. I was like, somebody just end this, and it was right before Batman. Way to put everybody to sleep right before you showed the Batman. We didn't even talk about the Batman trailer. That's how big the news was over the weekend. But hopefully we got Otto and Ryan back, and we can kind of dissect all the news. We'll give you our thoughts, what we thought about the Batman trailer, as well as Wonder Woman 84 trailer. There was a kind of a sneak peek of Suicide Squad. Wasn't really a trailer, but still some cool stuff on there. Also, the Black Adam Boss Logic kind of comic, motion comic teaser thing was incredible. I thought it was really, really cool. Boss Logic and Jim Lee actually put that thing together for Black Adam. And The Rock said one thing, and it just, I'll say this. No, I'll save it. But it was funny to me because did you see the commercials for DC Fandom leading up to it? And it was playing the iconic John Williams score from the original Superman. And the original and the whole fandom was so light on Superman, it was ridiculous. It was like, this is your dude. Where is any semblance of Superman? So hopefully we'll get some soon, but we will talk about it more. I'm telling you, we could talk about this for another 30 minutes. But you know what? Well, as the kids say, we'll save it for more content for later. So, sure. Hey, as always, thank you guys for supporting the Lords of the Long Box. And I will drop the link in here one more time. So make sure you guys click on that SurveyMonkey link, and you will get entered into winning a 1-year free subscription to CovrPrice.com. Want to thank you for supporting the Lords for the last 5 years or the last year since we've been relaunched. And probably Thursday when we do the DC Fandom video, it's not going to be live. It'll probably be pre-recorded. We'll see how it goes. But we're also going to sell you the stuff that we're giving away, some cool comics, some stuff from the Geeky Swag Shop, from Rocket Comics, from Comics, Tunes, and Toys, and as well as KRS Comics. And just to thank you guys all for being there, helping support us get to almost 5,200 subs now. So thank you guys, man. Any last words, Zach?
Nope. Just, let's see what happens going down the line. We're going to do that DC Fandom thing. That should be fun. And yeah, man, things are back. Things are back to normal, it seems like, with at least in the comic book realm. So it's exciting.
Marvel, Kevin Feige, I'm looking at you, dog. Where's our Marvel fandom, man?
Ooh, wait. New Mutants comes out this week.
For you guys.
Yeah. Sorry.
So yeah. So hey, maybe Zach will do his review on the channel. We'll give that a shot. You know what I'm saying?
I got some plans this weekend, so maybe I might not see it like quickly. We'll see what happens.
All the theaters in Texas open?
Yeah, they're pretty much all opening up this week. They're showing a lot of classic stuff right now, but you can buy tickets for New Mutants and everything this weekend.
Yeah, god damn it. All right, yeah, should I see a boot? Because I'm pretty sure it's going to be pirated like crazy. But you know what? Whatever you say about whatever studios, but even little things like this, you still want to go out and support and give your money. You know what I mean? There's a lot because I'm not just saying the directors and actors who all are well paid, but what about the lighting guy or the crafts people? All those people you see at the end credits, man. There's like 200-300 people that are going to part of making a motion picture. So support them if you can by paying whatever you can, man. So it's got to help out in the time of COVID, right? Shit, man. Yep. All right, boys and girls. So we will probably pre-record this tomorrow since Zach is not available on Thursday. We'll probably get Ryan on here since he's a giant DC fan and think what he thinks. He told us in the live chat what he thinks, and he said something about an erection. So that shows you the level of excitement that Ryan has for all the stuff. So thank you guys all. So stay tuned. Probably Wednesday or Thursday, we'll drop the video on our thoughts and review of what went on at DC Fandom. Until then, boys and girls, here's some DJ Curse to see you out. Keep digging in that long boxes. Peace out.
Now let's do this.
Rewind, select and come again. Pull up that from the top to the very last. Jump.
Who are you to make their lives bitter in hard bondage? In this you shall know that the Lord is
Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, do it! We're here! We're back! Word up!
Get super job. You can't get fresher than this.
In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's 5 greatest heroes. Their mission, to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
When it comes, I won't even notice.
Oh, how so?